Hello, good morning. Today we are on new topic of economics. So far we have learned microeconomics, macroeconomics first. Second we learn utility analysis, law of utility, assumptions of utility, exceptions to law of utility. The third topic we learned is demand. Demand analysis. What is law of demand? What is market demand? What is individual demand? What are the assumptions, exceptions to law of demand? Then what is extension, contraction? What is increase, decrease in demand? Then we saw next topic which was as elasticity of demand. What are the types of elasticity of demand? Price elasticity, income elasticity, cross elasticity, then factors affecting elasticity of demand. Then we saw importance of elasticity of demand, demand analysis, law of utility, marginal utility. What are the importance of these topics? So far, we have learned 5 topics, very important topics, which are introduced to students of Maharashtra Board. Now, today we are starting with forms of market. Now, forms of market means, first of all, we must know what is market. So, market in a common language, it is a specific place where buyers and sellers of a commodity meet each other and exchange the goods for price which will be paid by buyer. So ordinarily we say, जरा मार्केट में जाके आता हूँ, थोड़ा सब्जी लाने का है, फ्रूट्स लाने का है. So that is one market. But in economics, this is not really a market, but it is more than that. The basic thing is this, but it denotes, it defines, it explains in a different way. It is not necessary that a particular place is a market in economics. Market refers to a mechanism or it is arrangement which facilitates transactions between group of buyers and sellers. So they come in close contact with one another, but this contact can be directly or indirectly. Transactions of buying and selling is completed without meeting personally. So in economics, it is not necessary that buyer and seller should meet physically and do the exchange. The exchange takes place among them easily and quickly at a price which will be decided mutually by buyer and seller. So, regardless of geographical area, again I am repeating, regardless of geographical area, buyers and sellers may contact each other by means of correspondence, that is writing letters, sending it by courier or by post, getting the reply, and then exchange can take place. Then there can be telephonic conversation. Even nowadays it is on WhatsApp. Buyers, sellers can send fax to each other, telex, and nowadays most of the transactions of buying and selling is done through internet. So these are the various sources through which buyers and sellers are contacting each other, irrespective of region, irrespective of city, irrespective of countries all over the world. So this is a wider term what is defined in economics as market. There are certain authorities, economists, they have defined market. So according to Carnot, the term market in economics means not any particular marketplace in which things are bought and sold, but the whole region or entire nation or entire world where buying and selling can take place. I am not giving exact definition word to word, I am just explaining its definition. You can buy it from the books. Try to understand the definition. So buyers and sellers are not in contact. These are the words which are used by Carnot in his definition. So by understanding the definition, you can explain in the proper words. It is not necessary that exact word to word definition you should write, but the definition which is given by the authorities should be covered in your words. So according to Carnot, buyers and sellers are not in close contact with one another, but they are coming in contact to price of the goods, and they will be coming as early as possible, quickly and easily when they come together. The intention of buying and selling is to be completed very easily and quickly. These are the things which are covered by Professor Carnot. So this is the economist. This definition is given in the books, but this is what is covered in that definition. Try to understand the definition, and then you write maximum words which are covered by him. Now another definition is given by Professor Chapman. This is not given in the textbook, but you should try to write and present your answer in the best way. So Professor Chapman says the term market refers not necessarily a place, but always a commodity. So place is not important, commodity is important, and the buyers and sellers who are not in direct contact with one another, they are not competition with each other, but the object is to buy the goods from buyer's point of view and sell the goods from the seller's point of view at a determined price or price mutually decided among them. So, in a nutshell, or you can say that what connotes, what economics tells you about market, or you can say what are the features or characteristics of market. So first point is, market does not necessarily refer to a particular place. There are buyers and sellers who may or may not meet each other personally. Point number one. Point number two, it involves a networking of transactions where a product or service is bought and sold between potential buyer and potential seller. Potential buyer means what? Buyer is coming in a market with an intention to buy. So he is called potential buyer. But if price is not agreed and if he is not satisfied with the product, he will not buy the product. So he will not be called as buyer. So when he purchases the goods, he will be called as buyer. So that is what I am telling you. So market involves networking of transactions where a product or service is bought and sold between potential buyer and potential seller. So potential seller is a seller who expects amount or price actually he will receive or he will sell the goods. So when actual goods are sold, he will be called as seller. So third point is the interaction of demand and supply determines the price of a product in a market. Means what? So if you go in a market, then seller of mango says 500 रुपया डजन है भाई, आपको लेने का है तो लो. Then you will say no, 400 रुपये देता है तो मैं लेता हूँ. Then mutually you say it is 450. 450 में देता है क्या? बोलो. So interaction of demand and supply determine the price of goods and services in a market. Fourth point, for a market, there has to be close contact between buyers and sellers. So this may be through correspondence, telephone, telex, fax, etc. that already I told you. And last point, market can be of any size, local market or small market, national market or international market. There can be fish market, gold market, examples I am giving, fruit market, share market. So there are various types of market where goods and services are exchanged. So this is the first point I have explained. Now coming to second subtopic of market is classification of market or types of markets. So in economics, market are classified. Market is classified into market on the basis of place. Number two, market on the basis of time. Number three, market on the basis of competition. So there are classification of market which is divided into three. Now, on the basis of place, market is divided into three. Local market, national market, international market. So, on the basis of place it is. See, whatever I explained in definition, basic, when you learn about basis on the basis of place, the market is local market. So, when buyers and sellers meet each other at particular place regularly, it is called local market. For example, as I told you, vegetable market, fruit market, fish market, etc., etc. In small villages, it is weekly market on a specific day in every week. So, in small villages at remote places, buyers and sellers meet on a fixed day. So, they say Somwar Bazaar, means on Monday they will meet, every week they will meet on Monday. So, on that day, at a specific place, buyers and sellers will meet and do the exchange. But in cities and towns, there is a fixed place of market where buyers and sellers meet regularly for exchange. So, this place may be near station or near houses of the buyers or near airports, etc. Now, second type of market based on place, on the basis of place, is national market. So, in this, buying and selling of goods and services takes place within the boundaries of a country. Trade takes place as per the rules and regulations formulated by each country. Buying and selling is done within the country. It is conducted with local currencies prevailing in each country, which is approved by the government, each government of the nation. For example, local currencies in India means, within India means rupees, pounds in UK and dollars in USA. So, buying and selling which is done within the country, within the territories of a country, and where one currency is prevailing for exchange, it is called national market. Now, third is international market. When trade takes place between different countries, it is known as international market. When boundaries of two countries are crossed and exchange takes place in between two or more countries, it is called international market. International market. So, international market is or it consists of import and export trade. Import and export trade means what? So, when one country purchases the goods or avails the benefit of services from another country, it is called import trade. When one country sells the goods or gives the services to another country, when he sells the goods outside his boundaries, it is called export trade. So, when exchange takes between various countries, it is called international trade. So, naturally, the currencies which are used are different. But exporter gets his income or money through central bank. For example, in India, so suppose a person exports goods to US trader, that buyer will send dollars to India. So these dollars will be converted into rupees by Reserve Bank of India, through Reserve Bank of India or State Bank of India or other nationalized bank, and then exporter, that is seller from India, will get money in rupees. But exchange is taking place in different currencies. So this is called export trade and import trade. So international trade is a trade between two countries, two or more countries. There are two types of international trade: import trade and export trade. Currencies used are different, but conversion is done and seller gets money in his own country's currency. That is called international trade. So there are three types of trade based on place: local market, national market and international market. So these three types of markets are classified, subdivided into this. Now coming to second type, and that is market on the basis of time. There are four types of market on the basis of time: very short period or market period. Then second is short period. Then third is long period. And fourth is very long period. So what is this? See, as you know, so before discussing these periods, let us try to understand how the goods are produced by the producer or seller. So before discussing about classification, one should know that producers or sellers can produce or produce the goods with the help of factors of production. So he uses land, labor, that is workers and staff. So land means land and building. So he is using land and building. Then labor, that is wages workers, then capital and organization. So there are 4 factors of production. Now these factors of production are used as a variable factors of production. Again I am repeating, these factors of productions are further classified or defined as variable factors of production and fixed factors of production. So these things are not given in the textbook, but you should write, because you will not be able to explain what is market period, short period, long period, very long period. I am telling you. In the textbook, it is very brief explanation is given, and with the help of that explanation, you will not be understanding and will not be in a position to explain what is short market, short period and market period. So coming back to, so producer can increase the production or can increase the supply of goods or decrease the supply of goods, as the case may be, by using variable factors of production and fixed factors of production. Examples of variable factors of production is raw material, labor, power and fuel. Variable factors of production means what? He can increase the production by using more raw material. So it is variable. If demand is for 1000 goods and if he requires 1000 kg of raw material, then he will use 1000 kg of raw material. If demand goes to 2000, he will increase the raw material in production. So this is called variable. So variable factors of production means when it varies with the output. Output goes up, raw material will go up. Less production, less raw material. Similarly, labor. He will increase number of workers if there is more sale, more demand. So he will try to supply more by increasing number of workers. This is called variable factor. He will use power. Suppose he is working for 8 hours in a factory, he will increase the number of hours and use power for 10, 15, 16 hours or even 24 hours. So use of power will increase. If there is less demand, he will produce less, so he will use less power. So when supply of variable factors are those which changes with the output. In case of fixed factor, the supply cannot be increased immediately or cannot be increased. For example, purchase of machinery. For certain period it has to be fixed. Land as a gift of nature, you cannot increase the supply as a whole. Individual supply can be increased, that is different. So coming back to land, plant and machinery, rent. So if he takes on the rental basis one factory, so he has to pay 10,000 rupees rent fixed, whether production is 1,000 or 10,000 or 5,000. So when the amount of cost do not change with production, it is called fixed factors of production. So land is fixed, there he has to produce, rent is fixed, insurance is fixed, equipments are fixed. So land and building, plant and machinery, rent or insurance, These are called fixed factors of production. This supply, if you reduce, you will have to pay rent, you have to pay insurance. Whether you don't use machinery, it will be idle. So this is called fixed factors of production. So now coming to classification or subdivision of market on the basis of time, or very short period or market period, short period, long period, very long period. Now coming to very short period or market period. Now definition. See, this point is divided into three parts. It is definition, duration and nature of supply. Under this, you refer textbook and you will find the difference in my notes and textbook. Definition. So, it is a market situation in which increase in demand for commodity or goods last or exist only for short period. So it is very short period, so that there is no time for producer to increase the supply and to meet the increased demand. Means he cannot change his supply by increasing variable factor as well as fixed factor. Second point, because duration. The time period is a day or few days or few weeks or few months only. It is less than 1 year. So for perishable goods, the time period is few hours or few days. For durable goods, it is few weeks or few months. So time period for supplier is very short, in which he cannot increase the supply to meet the demand. Now that is called nature of supply. So since the time period is very short, there is no time to increase the supply to meet the demand by changing variable or fixed factors. 3 points are over. Coming to next, short period. So definition of short period is, it is a market situation in which increase in demand for goods or services last or exist for some time, so that there is some scope or time for producer to increase the supply to some extent. Try to understand the words I am using. Some extent he can meet the demand. Second point, since the duration is in months, but again duration is less than one year. Within 12 months, short period duration is 1 year. So 1 year the demand will increase. So after few weeks or few months, when seller gets an idea that there is continuous demand in this period, then there is scope for producer to increase the supply. So how he will increase? How he can increase the supply? So he can increase the supply by changing or increasing variable factors only. So he will buy more raw material and will produce more goods. He will appoint more number of workers, or he will give overtime to the existing workers. So, and with the help of this he will try to meet the demand of consumers in short period. However, he cannot change fixed factors of production, because suppose there is more demand and if you purchase machinery for 10 lakhs and if next year there is no demand, then it is a waste. So in short period, fixed factors cannot be changed. So fixed factors will remain unchanged. So he will not increase or decrease fixed factors of production. Now coming to third period, and that is long period. So long period, it is a market situation in which increase in demand for goods and services will exist or last for many years, so that there is continuous demand for particular product or service given by the seller, so that there is enough time for producers or service providers to increase the supply to great extent. I am using great extent. In the previous I have used some extent. So to great extent, supplier can meet the demand of buyers. So this is the definition. The duration, the time period is for few years. Generally it is 5 years, up to 5 years. So nature of supply. Now in this period there is good scope or vast scope for the producer or service provider to increase the supply by increasing variable factors like more purchase of raw material, bulk purchase of raw material, appointment of workers, or use of more power by taking permission from the government, and also fixed factors of production. He will buy addition in plant and he will do addition in plant and machinery. He will purchase factory building, or he will take on a higher basis. He will acquire more land for agriculture goods. So in long period, variable factors of production and fixed factors of production are changed. Now, in other words, in long run, all the factors of production become variable. All are variable. Variable itself and fixed also become variable. This is very important sentence. In other words, in long period, all factors of production are variable. Coming to next and last classification is very long period. Now definition. Now it is a market situation in which increasing demand for goods and services will exist or will continue for several years or many years or decades. so that there is enough time for producers or service providers to increase the supply to maximum extent to meet the demand. Again I am telling you, in case of very short period, there is no scope at all to increase the factors of production, no change in variable and fixed factor. In case of short period, I told you, to some extent he can change, that is changing the variable factors. In long period, he can supply to great extent. Again I am saying great extent, means changing the variable factors as well as fixed factors of production. Now in case of very long period, there is maximum extent. He can increase the supply by changing variable factors and fixed factors. There is some difference, I will tell you. Now duration, the time period may be several years or decades. Nature of supply. There is enough time or sufficient time for the producers or service providers to increase the supply by increasing variable factors like raw material, appointment of more workers, that is same. But in case of fixed factors or even in case of variable factors, in very long period, producer will appoint very skilled people, experienced people who is having technical knowledge, they are masters in their field. So that is the difference between long period and very long period. And then in the case of fixed factors, he will use latest techniques of production. He will change the methods of production. He will change from labor intensive method to capital intensive method. So there is difference between installation or use of fixed factors. In long run also, all factors of production become variable. So this is how you have to explain the markets based on period. Now coming to next, on the basis of competition. Now on the basis of competition, there are two markets, that is perfect competition market and imperfect competition market. Now imperfect competition market is further divided into monopoly, number 1, number 2, oligopoly, and number 3, monopolistic competition. Now today we will just try to understand the definition of perfect competition and the features or characteristics of perfect competition market that we will see next time. So what is perfect competition market? So this market this time is based on competition. Now what is the definition of perfect competition market? Perfect competition market is a market situation where there are large number of buyers and sellers buying and selling homogeneous products or commodities. Homogeneous means similar, same in size, shape, color, weight, quality. So homogeneous or similar products at a single uniform price. Again I will define. Perfect competition market is a market situation where there are a large number of buyers and sellers buying and selling homogeneous or similar product or commodity at single uniform price. I will explain these points when we will go to features. Point number 2, a perfectly competitive market is not in existence today. It is not found in real life. Again I am repeating, perfect competition market is not found in our day-to-day life. It is an idealistic concept and not real one. It is an ideal and imaginary concept of market rather than actual market. Such a market may be applicable to certain farm products, and that too for very short period, for hours. So this is not the market which is found. This might be in very old days, 100 years back, when the population was very limited and the trade was confined to a very small place where people are staying with less than 100 or so much people. It is very urban, very old concept found in remote or rural areas. So this market is not found. Just we have to learn what are the features of market, so that you will come to know this is the ideal market which should be prevailing in the country. So according to John Robinson, perfect competition or competitive market prevails when the demand for the output of each producer is perfectly elastic. So what is perfectly elastic? We already discussed, but let me explain you next time what is perfectly elastic and how it is related with the perfect competition market.